WCW Monday Nitro, February 26, 2001. And yes, Brian, after this one, there's 4 episodes to go.
Oh, thank God.
But for right now, there's still 5. We are told...
No, there's not. I already watched it. It's fucking over. Okay. I don't care about the listeners or the viewers. I want to know how many I have to watch.
You heard that.
You hear me?
It's not a mystery.
Well, in regards to this, it's not a mystery at all.
I see.
I love our listeners, but fuck off with watching more of this shit. Yes, Rob?
Hey, Vinny.
Yes, Rob.
4 weeks is very palatable.
Thank you, Rob. See? He's on my side. I think. We have all lost our damn minds. You realize this? We have been driven mad by the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, by the finish of the fucking main event of Raw.
That too.
Dude, explain that to your wife.
No.
I mean, you know how long you have to take to explain all of that? You'd have to explain what a 24/7 title is. What the fucking stupid-ass rules are. Who these people are and their importance, and lack thereof.
And he's got graphs and
You recall
charts
last week I had to explain to my wife that Dean Malenko was not shooting on Lita.
Oh,
right.
God. Yes, take a while.
Yeah. All right. Chronic has been laid out backstage. We were told. I don't know if we ever actually saw them.
Well, what happened was Bryan Adams had appendicitis.
Ooh.
So he's going to be out of action for a while. So they had to do something to write them off the show.
Okay. Doug Dillinger is accusing Totally Buffed and those dudes of being part of this. They're pleading innocence. Flair shows up, says he'll take care of this. Scotty is waiting. He dismisses them, and he turns to Doug Dillinger and starts talking about, this is my show, I'm in charge, blah, blah, blah. We then cut to...
Well, first I want to talk about what I wrote for that segment. Show opens with Ric Flair talking to, in all caps, the perpetrators. Guys who did something, I guess. Doug wants to know when this is going to stop. 4 more weeks, Doug. 4 more weeks. Not 5. 4. Then Scott Steiner's looking for DDP.
But before that, Brian, this is a WCW live TV moment. The show just started, okay? It just started. We cut from Ric Flair and Doug Dillinger. We cut to a shot of a door. And we see the door gently close. There's a few seconds of awkward pausing. The cameraman advances forward and tries to open the door so we can't see his hand, which of course we can see. The door opens. A guy with a light steps forward, looks into the camera, moves on. The cameraman shoots the open door where you can't see through the opening anyone, but if you peek through the crack, you can see Steiner's clearly standing there waiting for his cue. A few seconds go by, and they cut to the announcers to try to save the show. It just started. We've been on the air for 20 seconds, and they're already screwing things up. So, eventually, Steiner comes storming out of this room, finds a random dude, asks where Paige is. When the guy doesn't know, Steiner beats the hell out of him. A random security guy comes to make the save. Scott Steiner turns and just waffles him. Just throws him out. Then Paige appears in the crowd.
I'm sure he deserved it.
I'm sure Scott Steiner would never hurt anyone without cause. Paige appears in the crowd calling out Steiner. Steiner sees this on a monitor backstage, destroys the monitor, orders his crew to stay there. I'll go deal with this. He goes through backstage, through Gorilla, down the ramp to the ring, and says, Paige, I can't find you. He's right where you were the last time you saw him a minute ago. He's in the crowd. So, the first thing, eventually Paige says, I'm over here. I'm not scared, he says, surrounded by thousands of fans with 200 yards between him and Steiner. I'm just playing mind games. Lists all the guys that Steiner has killed. It says one of them is coming back tonight. There's 4 dudes in front of him in DDP yoga shirts, and they can't stop smiling.
Yes.
They're so happy about this. And DDP finishes his promo and he says, I promise tonight you will feel the... He looks at the guys, and they're standing there smiling. And finally Paige says, bang! And then the guys take their shirts off to reveal B-A-N-G. Show just started. Yeah. Can't get anything right. So Steiner goes through the crowd to kill everyone he can find. Later tonight, Dustin Rhodes versus Jeff Jarrett with Ric Flair as special referee. A special announcement from the Cat. And the Cruiserweight Tag Team Tournament begins. Even WCW could do brackets. These are your opening round matches. I hope you're all taking notes. Evan Courageous and Shannon Moore versus Jamie Noble and the debuting Scotty O. Elix Skipper and a mystery partner versus Air Paris and AJ Styles. The Young Dragons versus Kiwi and Mike Sanders. And in our opener here, Rey Mysterio Jr. and Kidman versus Johnny Swinger and Jason Lee. I assume everyone here is familiar with Mysterio, Kidman, and Swinger. Yes. Jason Lee teamed with Rip Rogers in
it was
Ohio Valley,
Ohio Valley guy.
Really? Yeah.
Okay, so I've now done some math.
Oh no.
Yes. Okay, so they mentioned they're bringing back a big star.
You're right.
Did you say this? Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler, the big star's Booker T. Yeah. So the plan, as everyone is well aware, and we actually talked about this last week, the plan was that they were going to wait until after Greed, and then they were going to bring back all the big stars. The new owners were going to bring back the big stars.
Okay.
So last week, remember how fucking awful that show was? And we said, Jesus Christ, they have no stars. Yeah. Because their plan involves getting rid of all of the stars.
Yeah.
The show's horrible. So, that Nitro did the lowest rating they'd ever done.
Huh.
Okay. Now, television has changed a lot. Okay. But the lowest rating that Nitro had ever done that resulted in Eric Bischoff deciding we got to at least bring back one of these guys, Booker T, was 2.5 times higher than your average Raw rating today.
Yeah.
I used a Raw rating January 2020. This was after football season was over. 0.83 was the rating for Raw. This lowest rated Nitro of all time when the show was about to die did a 2.05 rating. Now, as we talk about the changes in television, but let me tell you what's not the change in television. The rating is a percentage of the people that have the channel. So it doesn't matter if USA Today is in 91 million homes and TNT back then was in 30 million homes. The rating is the rating. It's a percentage of people that watch compared to how many people have the channel. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Nitro was doing 2.5 times the Raw rating on Death's Door, that tells you how unpopular Raw is with the general population in this country today. Nobody's watching wrestling. That's sad. Anyway.
So Mysterio and Kidman versus Swinger and Lee.
Fun match.
It was very fun. They did 700 moves. There's a lot of crowd sweetening. Although you could also see people were jumping up and down, so they were into it. Eventually, the Animals win with a flying nut shot and the unprettier. There's a thumbs up. The Cat goes for a walk. We have clips of New Orleans. And then the Cat comes out for a promo.
Shat says, Canyon, you're a low-down dirty dog. I will do whatever it takes to get to you. I was here to enforce the laws as commissioner, but this is between the two of us. Therefore, Shat says, I am going to step down as the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we just sit through 6 months of storylines so Cat could be commissioner?
He just won it back.
Not that. He fought for it and just won it back.
Yeah.
And now he's giving it up, and his explanation is, because I want to get my hands on Canyon.
Yeah.
Then he says, and I quote,
Yeah.
maybe I don't want to quote it.
Rob, would you like to quote the Cat here?
Shat says, I will eat his ass like a pot of collard greens.
That's what the Cat said.
Yeah.
That's what the Shat had to say about Canyon.
Yeah.
And I've had collard greens, so potato.
So then fucking Ric Flair comes out, and Flair says, Shat, now that you've given up the commissionership, you don't have jack shit in terms of power. So I'm in charge, and you have to do everything that I want. And I'm just looking at Kat thinking, you're the dumbest motherfucker I ever saw in my life. And Flair goes, well, I'll give you that match with Canyon, but you can't have it tonight. You can have it at Greed. I thought, Shat, if you hadn't given up the commissionership, you could have signed your own fucking match with Canyon tonight. But you're so fucking stupid that you gave it up, and now this guy's in charge. So Shat, realizing what a dumb shit he is, he says, well, I'll go through your ass right now, Rick. So Rick starts to take off his gimmicks. But then he says, I'm retired. I'm not into this stuff anymore. and he cheap shots the Shat. And, of course, Shat beats his ass, and all these geeks come out, and who cares after that? What the fuck was this?
Flair books Cat versus Rick Steiner for
What
tonight.
in the absolute fuck was this?
This is both stupid and poorly done.
Now, I will give them...
We stressed Cat's worst line, but let's make this clear. The Cat trying to do serious badass promos, 0 buys.
No, and he's smiling through the whole thing.
Yeah.
On top of everything else. I will give them a little credit. When Flair went crazy and he's screaming that Steiner's going to kill you, and then the Shat says, you can bring Steiner, you can bring your mama, I'm going to kill somebody tonight. That did whip the fans into a frenzy. I'll give him that.
I kind of remembered, of course I remember the Cat being on Nitro and being part of the many storylines going on, but the Cat was legitimately one of their biggest stars at this point, or at least they positioned as such.
Oh, yes.
To view it. He was not just a part of the show.
No.
He was a headliner.
And he was there forever.
Yes.
He's been there longer than Blackman has been in WWE.
I'm sure he has,
It
actually.
paid to be a karate guy here in the 90s.
Conan does a backstage promo.
Who's he talking to?
It's one of those, they both shows lately have had this gimmick where someone's talking to the camera, but it's not the camera that's on them.
No.
So, Conan says Flair and his crew have only succeeded in uniting all the remaining wrestlers. He is going to go to that locker room. He's going to lead by example. And he's going to get some soldiers. Sean O'Hare comes out for a promo.
Oh, God.
He cuts a promo.
Can they get Sanders back out here? This was
Cat
horrible.
or anyone. I could have sworn he called out some grunions.
Well,
That's the best I could get out of what he said.
Okay.
he tried to say he was calling out the Canadians.
They cut a promo for him saying he has called out the Canadians.
Yes.
But I was like, Grunion? Grunion? What the hell is he saying? It was supposed to be Canadians. So he calls this out. They go to break. When they come back, Chuck Palumbo and Sean O'Hare versus Lance Storm and Mike Awesome has started. And you know what? This bothered me much less than NXT when they start a match and go to commercial a minute in. Because it was presented as something for which the show was not ready for. So we missed the entrances, we missed the opening of the match because the whole thing was thrown together. No one planned to go to commercial a minute in. So they're doing this match. Lex Luger's video starts on the screen.
Oh, Christ. Music distraction for Totally Buffed, but instead,
For everyone.
Canyon comes out. Canyon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Canyon comes out. He gives O'Hare a flatliner or something on the floor. The announcers have absolutely no idea what's going on. Mike Awesome, who is not a Canadian, by the way, falls off the top rope.
Oh,
Still does a clothesline. Lance hits the Maple Leaf on Palumbo. They're the number one contenders. And for some reason, Canyon helped the Canadians win.
We don't know why Totally Buff helped the Canadians. The announcers are guessing where the Canadians did on this. Was this part of their plan? We don't know why Canyon attacked O'Hare. We don't know why afterwards Conan, who last we had seen was talking about getting soldiers, now he's out here attacking the Canadians.
Yeah, he goes, I'm going to go get some troops to take on the Magnificent Seven. He immediately then comes out and attacks two men not in the Magnificent Seven by himself.
By himself. He's a horrible recruiter.
This is a bad show.
This is a very, very bad show. This clearly, you can tell, this is the crap against the wall segment. Like, maybe if we do 18 random things, one of them will get over.
And then after the first horrible promo, we have O'Hare cutting a second fucking awful promo. And he calls out Canyon for later on tonight. And Flair tells Canyon to get the job done.
They do a sit down backstage interview with Paige, and it's one of those where it starts like the graphics on the screen earlier today. You think this will go 30 or 40 seconds, will be done. Like 4 minutes later, Paige is still talking. He says Scott Steiner has not put anyone out of the business, and then 2 sentences later says, "I am the last man standing." He will break Steiner down mentally, which will break it down physically. At greed, he will get all of DDP. And then we get Rick Steiner versus the Cat.
Okay, so it is made abundantly clear on this program over the last several weeks. So there's two ways to have a good match with Rick Steiner. Okay? Way number one is he beats the shit out of you.
Yes.
And tries to kill you.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Way number two is you put him in with a really great worker from the 80s NWA, and he can have a good match.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, I could run into Rick Steiner someday. I want to make this abundantly clear. I'm not saying that I think that Rick Steiner was afraid of Shat.
Okay.
All right? But maybe he did think, maybe this guy could karate chop me really hard. All I know is he did not go in there and try to kill the Shat.
He did not.
Shat did not go in there as a 80s NWA worker. So they had a fucking atrocious match.
Yes.
This was so bad.
I have nothing good to say about this.
It was not good at all.
No. My words were, match, of course, is no good. Let me repeat, no good.
And then Luger and Bagwell actually came out this time. So they interfered in the previous match with just music. Then they actually came out this match with no music. Maybe someone hit the CD at the wrong
That's
time.
what I'm guessing.
Hugh Morris ran down. He
That
waffled.
would be funny.
I mean, what else would it be?
I don't have a better answer.
Yeah.
So Hugh Morris waffled Steiner with a knee brace. Shat got the pin. Scott Steiner tried to kill Shat. Hugh Morris hit the ring. Steiner killed him. Totally buffed, ran in. Steiner dared DDP to come out. DDP comes out. He gets stomped on. This is just a fucking train wreck. But then they hit Booker T's music. And this fucking dude runs down. And, I mean, you know when you get rid of all the big stars? It actually does work when you bring one back.
Oh, it did.
Sure.
Because these fans have been sitting here watching the most bullshit, boring show. And Booker T comes back, a house of fucking fire. These fans, like, they're not just cheering.
No.
Okay? They are leaping up and down. And they're not even just, like, doing that with their fists. They're jumping up and down in their seats going crazy for Booker T. Fans are just going fucking crazy. Steiner cuts his promo on Page, challenges for this 6-man, Flair signs it, and then they do it, and all of a sudden, just by bringing back Booker T, this fucking show was hot.
It felt like something that mattered. By one guy. One guy.
And then
Yeah.
you think about all the other guys they haven't brought back yet.
Yeah. But this is why they didn't think they were dead. They thought they had bullets in the chamber, so to speak. They thought they had a plan. So yes, just by having that music hit and Booker T come out and look like $1 million and be awesome, the show suddenly felt alive for the first time in weeks. Now, I will point out that in the melee after Booker T came out, the Cat at one point, it was after the ring was cleared, by the way. There's Booker, Page, and the Cat are the only three left in the ring. The Cat is either so excited
Yes.
or so confused or something. He grabs Booker T and swings a punch at him.
Yes.
Which Booker, of course, doesn't sell. And everyone pretends it didn't happen. And I thought maybe, like, it was like an aggressive hug. Maybe he wrapped his hand around the guy's head. But no, I watched it. He threw a punch at the guy because he thought the brawl was still going on. And everyone just ignored it. The Cat was really bad at his job. So, yes, the match is right now a trios match. Booker T and DDP and Cat versus Scott Steiner and Totally Buffed. So we just watched the Cat wrestle against Rick Steiner for what felt like 4 hours. And it was no good. So, of course, the Cat wrestles this entire match.
And by the way, what happened to Hugh Morris? They just sent him to the back? You
We
can't
are
play?
later told he went to the hospital.
Well, they claimed he had a knee injury, but it was a work. I don't know why they bothered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he worked the whole match, but Shat just sold, so it wasn't that bad. They just beat the shit out of him for a long time.
Ric Flair is on commentary just out of his mind.
Oh, man. When
Why
you talk
was-
about MJF being great on commentary,
Yeah.
dude, MJF would have bowed down to Ric Flair. He was
course.
so fucking amazing on commentary. He's in character the whole time.
He is in character, but at the same time, he never buries anyone.
oh, no.
yeah.
He only
These
puts-
are the best athletes in the world. It's WCW at its best.
I know Booker T looks great, but Scott Steiner looks even better.
I thought they had to apply a defibrillator to this guy as he's screaming and going crazy in commentary. Just the greatest. Just the greatest. DDP hot tag. Diamond cutter on Steiner. Buff hits DDP with the blockbuster. It was like a modern day match.
It was, actually.
Booker hits the bookend on Buff. Booker hits the axe kick on Steiner. Gets the pin. Ric Flair's reaction to Scott Steiner getting pinned. Tony Schiavone's, the joy in his voice that the baby faces overcame the odds and the heels.
Which was a rarity on Nitro ever.
He still loved wrestling.
Yes.
And he rarely got to love it.
Yes.
But he got to love it here. He's out of his mind. This fucking segment was so good in the middle of this show. I love this. The whole thing, the return, the match, everything.
And even though Steiner got pinned, he took both the diamond cutter and an axe kick to do it. So they still kept him strong that way.
Well, not just that, but like he's not facing Booker at the pay-per-view. So DDP's moves set up his doom.
Yes.
So they can still do Steiner and DDP.
Yes. Steiner, of course, throws a tantrum and throws shit around backstage. DDP, Cat, and Booker have a meeting. They all congratulate each other. We have a recap of Dustin Rhodes' return to the company and Jarrett mocking Dusty last week. And then Dustin cuts a promo on Jarrett, who he calls Mr. Guitar Man.
He says, I got a question for the world. Does anybody know who Jeff Jarrett's daddy is? Well, I'm going to be his daddy tonight, and I'm going to tap, tap, tap on his ass.
Yeah.
What is with the asses on this show?
I don't have an answer. I also threatened to slap the nose off Ric Flair's
The
face.
snout.
Snout. Pardon me. Pardon me.
This is very important. He called it a snout.
I just like when he asked, does anyone know who Jeff Jarrett's daddy is? And I thought, yes, his name is Jerry.
Yes.
Many people in wrestling know this.
He probably paid you at one point.
Or not.
Or not.
Or,
Shannon Moore versus Shane Helms. Short but fun. Evan Courageous interfered a lot.
he'll never guess what Shannon's move's called. The bottoms up.
Yes, everything is ass related on the show.
Dude, where's Billy Gunn?
And, well, it's the same move, too. The famed
It is.
asser and the bottoms up are the same move.
Wow.
And Helms fought off the interference from Evan Courageous, one with a vertebreaker. And then Chavo attacked Shane, and they triple teamed him for a while. Still got up at the end. That's that.
You notice all the Omega guys have pretty much the exact same gear.
That is true. Yes. Very common fashion sense.
Jenko jeans.
See, I had another brand name. Canyon versus Sean O'Hare. Do you like moves?
Oh, my God.
Boy, do I.
Dude, Canyon,
If you like moves, have I got a match for you?
your usual Canyon match with 80 million moves. I don't know if they did 80 million. I'll play Dave, but they did like a lot of moves. And I'll give Canyon credit. He gave O'Hare a lot.
Yeah, both guys did a lot of moves.
And it's funny because, like, Canyon, they've been pushing Canyon. And I'm so used to watching AEW where if you're being pushed to something, you don't lose. So I'm flabbergasted when Canyon loses clean in the middle of the senton.
Yeah.
And the answer's like, that's an upset. I was like, yeah, it made no sense. What the fuck did you beat Canyon for? Right?
I suppose. O'Hare is one half of the tag champ still. So.
And then my favorite part of it is Sean O'Hare, in an upset, the young up-and-coming star beats Canyon in the middle of the ring with his move. And the announcers say, let's go to the replay. And they go to a replay of Booker T axe-kicking Scott Steiner.
Oops.
No, then they call it like, earlier tonight, that Booker T hit Scott Steiner and pinned him.
Hey, Tony Schiavone's a pro.
I was like,
I'll say.
can I see his receipt for his action figures while you're at it?
And in the main event, Dustin Rhodes versus Jeff Jarrett with Ric Flair as referee.
I hear that Jared did a promo before this match.
I'm afraid he did.
He told this slapnuts to choke on that.
Even worse, I watched it. Yeah, it had nothing to say. So we had a Jarrett promo for no reason, and then worse, we had every heel ref match ever. I'm just fighting to stay awake now during the show.
Flair is out there in his business attire. He's got his alligator shoes on,
The slacks.
his slacks, his dress shirt, and he threw a fucking ref shirt over the top.
Over the dress shirt.
Yep. Long sleeve dress shirt.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So the gimmick, of course, is he's a heel ref, so he won't count when Dustin makes a cover. So Dustin has to beat them both up, hit a move on Jarrett, drag Flair over, try to count with Flair's hand.
It's actually worse, Vinny, because at the beginning, Flair is calling it down the middle.
Yes.
But then he starts not calling it down the middle.
Right.
And yes, at one point he gets knocked down and Dustin makes a cover and Flair's right there. So I swear to God this happened. Dustin grabs his wrist to make Ric Flair count.
Yes.
And he makes him count 1 and he makes him count 2 and then Flair kicks out.
Yes, that's what happened.
I was like, it's so bad, but it was worth it for Ric Flair to kick out of being a ref.
Yes. The referee kicked out because one of the wrestlers was pinning another wrestler. That's exactly what happened. And so finally, Dustin can take no more. Does the Shattered Dreams to Flair.
Oh, man. So the Shattered Dreams, you sit on the middle buckle, and they put one leg out of each rope.
Right.
And so as the guy goes to kick you, you kind of stand up a little bit so he kicks the turnbuckle.
Right.
So I presume it's just because Flair isn't flexible, but maybe he was really worried about his cock.
Sure.
Because they put him on that middle rope, and he is standing so erect, so to speak.
Excuse me?
That he's practically sitting on the top rope as Dustin is going to kick the middle turnbuckle. He was giving this guy, he was taking no chances. These are my balls here. I'm getting them out of the way. And it wasn't like he waited till the last minute. He was standing up the whole time.
So Jarrett attempts to hit Dustin with a guitar.
Which makes me think, because Dustin was that NWA guy, I wonder if one time in NWA they had a match and Dustin was going for the Shattered Dreams. I wonder if he did it before Goldust. I don't remember. But maybe he kicked Flair in the nuts one time and Flair never forgot it.
That's possible. It's possible. I would remember if I were Flair in that situation. So Flair fouls Dustin. Jarrett hits the stroke. Flair counts 3. This sucked.
I had to add something to this match.
I hope
very boring.
I hope you, the listener, enjoyed this match more than us, the viewers, did.
You know what this match was, Vinny?
Terrible.
No, it was every TNA main event that we were going to see for the next 10 fucking years.
That's also true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Why do people like the heel ref thing? Why do people think it's good?
Well, I don't think they do. I think the fucking
Why
promoters.
does Jeff Jarrett like it then?
Well, because I'm sure the crowd goes, and they get mad or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it gets a reaction. All right, you ready for your music?
Yes, sir. The finishes on the show were clean pin, submission after interference, pin after all sorts of bullshit, clean pin in a trios match, pin despite interference, clean pin, and pin thanks to heel ref. Turn the swill off.
What is happening? God damn it. First, I hit the wrong button and stopped recording.
Oh, good.
Then I had to start recording again, but it may have just been anywhere that I started recording.
Okay.
Then I fixed it. Yes, Rob. Okay, go ahead.
Does this mean you lose the beer bash?
Oh my God.
I was never
You
gonna.
fucked up.
I was never gonna get the beer bash. It's between you and Ken, and amazingly, this is week 4, so I'm just waiting to hear that something went wrong. Is it recording?
As far as you know.
No, I don't care. Every time I ask that question, is it fucking recording or not?
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, so far so good. Because I think this is week 4. I know. That means you and Ken just have to survive one more week, and the big beer bash will be scheduled. Can you imagine?
So now it's both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if they both tie, it's only fair. I can't say it's Rob's beer bash when Ken didn't fuck up for 5 weeks.
All right.
Would you like to tell us about your weekend, Rob? What the fuck happened to you?
I got the shit kicked out of me.
I wasn't there.
Yes, I was sitting ringside at the Without a Cause event in Everett, and State of Emergency was one of the tag teams in the Without a Cause tag team tournament.
Sure.
One of the guys, Miles DeVille, grabbed me completely out of the blue, threw me into the ring, and they proceeded to beat the shit out of me until they got their.
You didn't know this was going to happen?
Absolutely
it was a shoot?
not. It was an absolute shoot.
Wow.
As far as anyone knows.
Well, Rob actually took decent bumps. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it was a good bump.
Thank you.
It was decent bumps. Yeah. What's that noise? What's that music? I don't know. Well, congratulations, Rob. Now you're a worker.
Apparently so.
Yeah. Dude, Rob shows up at jiu-jitsu last night, and like all he can talk about is a spot. Oh, did you see my spot on Facebook?
Man.
Like,
I hope he doesn't get the
Dude.
bug.
I'm pretty sure that's not what happened, but
thousands
okay.
of fucking matches and 10,000 spots, and Rob takes one bump, and now all of a sudden he's a worker. Anyway, Rob, are you going to go back? Are you going to get revenge?
I certainly hope so. It would be nice if I had somebody by my side to help me out, but,
Vinny, Craig, anybody?
Uh-huh.
What would it take to get you out of retirement, Vinny?
I love you guys.
Light him off.
Wait, actually waiting for an answer?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, teaming with Rob was not high on my list.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
You're on your own, dude.
funny thing, that's what my wife says too, but.
Oh, hey.
Oh! All right, we're out of here, everybody. I've had enough of this. All right, we're wrapping it up for today. Thanks for listening, everybody. 4 more shows.
That's right.
There are now 4 more shows,
4
Brian.
more
When
shows.
we started today, there were
One
5.
for each horseman. That's all that's left.
There are no horsemen on these
And then at the end, Ric Flair
shows. Yes.
will lead us out. of the final Nitro. Ironically, I make that statement here on his birthday, February 25th. Happy birthday, Nature Boy. That's it, everybody. We're out of here.
Good night.
Talk to you again after a while.
Adios.
Good night.